Alright, good morning. So it's like 7:30 now. A little bit later than I would have liked, but it was pretty cold. I'm not very good at getting up early when it's cold out. So I kind of just wait for the sun to come up. But last night the night hiking was really rough. It was, all day the trail was fine. It was just like normal trail, and then as soon as I got to like night hiking, it was there are areas where it's kind of overgrown, not crazy overgrown. It wouldn't be that bad if you're doing it in the day probably, but still. And then it keeps crossing into the wash and sometimes going up the wash, which is like a riverbed, like a dry riverbed basically. But it was really rocky. It was just like loads of big rocks. And then there were parts of the trail where the trail goes along, and then there's just like a sudden drop and then back up, and you have to like kind of climb down a little bit and then climb up the other side, which again isn't really that bad if you're doing it in the day. But if it's like absolute end of the day, it's like 9 o'clock, and you just want to go and get somewhere to camp, it was pretty tough. And there was elevation as well, nothing crazy, but it just felt like it was going on for so long. So I didn't go as far as I wanted to, which means I still have, and I was going so slowly, still have 63 miles to get to where I want to get to tomorrow. So I want to do at least 30 miles today. Preferably do something like 34 or 35 miles if possible. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know what this terrain is going to be like. If it's anything like it was just there, then I don't think it'll be possible. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. And this is where I camped. It was a pretty good flat spot. I slept pretty well. I do kind of wish I'd gone a bit further last night. Seems like the camping out here is really good. And it'd be like soft pine needle ground as well. I slept well where I was, but this would have been really nice. And the trail's a lot easier now. It was just rough on that way up. Once I got up high, it's actually pretty good. I'm at like, I don't know, definitely 5,000 feet of elevation or something. It's been really hot out here for the last couple hours. For a while this morning I was kind of in the forest, but now it's more exposed. A lot of the trail is really rocky as well, so right now it's fine, but there's been some areas where you really have to be constantly watching where you step.
and I can't really film those parts, but it means I go a lot slower. Those rocky areas I can barely do like 2 miles an hour probably, instead of like normally I go like 3 miles an hour, and that's a big difference. It adds up over time. But it's really nice out here. It's beautiful. It's really nice. It's also, yeah, it's just hot, like I said, because there isn't really much of a breeze and no shade. I doubt the air temperature is that high, but just when you're hiking, especially on the uphills, you really feel it. So I don't know if I'm going to make it to where I want to today. I don't know if I'll make it to that highway tomorrow. But if not, I think I can still get picked up Saturday morning there, so it's not really too much of a big deal. I'm just going to try and enjoy the scenery and see how it goes. So I came from somewhere up there, went down into the valley, and now I'm going up here, almost at the top of this climb. And now there's a little bit of a breeze, but lower down it was really hot down there. Now that I'm near the top, it's like a little breezy and I'm cooling off a bit. So I think over there is Roosevelt Lake. Gonna get there in, I don't know, a few hours today. Fucking snake on the trail again. Is this a rattlesnake as well? I assume it is, right? Gonna have to try and find a way to go around this. Alright, so it's like 5:30 now. I still have about 6 miles to get to Roosevelt, so get to Roosevelt around 7:30 or something. So after dark, but I'm not going to stop there. Just want to keep hiking. I know there's a bar, a restaurant, and a shop, and other stuff in Roosevelt, but I mentioned I have a friend in Phoenix, Alec, who's going to pick me up from Highway 87, which is still quite a bit further from here, so I want to still hike a bit more tonight. But But yeah, anyway, I kind of gave up on the idea of reaching that highway tomorrow evening. I gave up on that earlier today because I was just going pretty slowly today. It's been really nice. I've been really enjoying it, and I don't want to push myself too hard and make it unenjoyable. So anyway, I told Alec I'll be there Saturday morning, like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. I enjoy setting a goal. I really like doing that, setting a goal which is like quite difficult to achieve and having to like push for those like 30-mile days. Um, I like, the sense of accomplishment when I make it on those 30-mile days and I push myself, but sometimes it's not the way to go. And in this stretch, it's definitely not the way to go because I'm actually really dehydrated right now. Been pretty dehydrated for a while. Today there was a lot of uphill and it was really exposed. Not much wind, like a little bit of a breeze later on, but for the middle of the day, it was like no shade, no wind, going uphill. I was really feeling the heat. And then to make matters worse, I accidentally skipped a water source, and I didn't realize that the next one was really far, like not until now. Like my next water source is less than a mile away, so I'm gonna get there really soon. Um, but I've had no water for like a few hours now, and I'm definitely feeling it. It's nothing serious, but like I'm just feeling really tired and exhausted, and even though I haven't done much more hiking than I normally would, so it's definitely the lack of water, and my mouth is so dry now. Anyway, gonna get to this water source soon. So I'm almost at the water source now. I also just wanted to mention that the terrain today has been really rocky as well, so that's also added to the difficulty of doing more than 30 miles. I mean, the main thing was definitely just like dehydration and like the hot sun and lack of breeze with the uphill. But yeah, anyway, with rocky ground, you can only go so fast because big loose rocks and steep terrain, you just can't really be like moving at full speed on that. But my feet are doing really well. My feet, I don't have any foot pain. Yeah, my toes are fine ever since I put the leukotape on, so the feet are not an issue. It's just like the kind of speed that you can go at is not maximum speed. This is definitely still an area where you could do more than 30 miles a day, but you'd probably want to be getting up earlier than I did because I only started hiking at like, I don't know, 7:30 or something. You could get up at like 6. But yeah, and then also obviously just staying hydrated and trying to avoid the big climbs in the middle of the day when it's the hottest and that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm still going to end up doing like 25 miles today or something, so it's not bad. It's just not what I was hoping for, but that's fine. I had a really nice day, like good views, nice scenery, really nice forest at the beginning of the day as well. So yeah, all good. And here's the water. Alright, so I've drank lots of water now, feeling a bit better, but still feeling really tired. It's only 6 o'clock, but I feel like it should be like 9 o'clock or something. Anyway, I don't really think I should be doing much night hiking or pushing it much further because I think the dehydration definitely affected me. I was also looking at the maps and I realized that when I get into Roosevelt, there's about a half-mile stretch on the highway which I have to walk, where I basically walk on the highway over a bridge, like I think over a dam. Anyway, obviously you shouldn't do that after sunset, because I assume I'm just walking on the shoulder of the highway. I don't think there's some kind of sidewalk or anything. So anyway, I think I'm gonna have to set up camp, some point within the next few miles anyway because of that, because I should do that highway walk tomorrow morning when it's light out. So there's 2 reasons why I should set up early. Anyway, taking it easy, gonna set up camp somewhere soon. So I just decided to set up camp right next to where I filled up in water. Like I said, the dehydration definitely affected me, and yeah, just drinking lots of water, eating lots of food, and just I feel like I should just take it easy and not do any more miles. So just gonna camp next to the water source, and yeah, see you tomorrow.